Greetings, good evening, welcome back to Combe TV. What are we at? Episode 93, goodness sake. I'm getting close to that 100 mark, aren't I? I'm going to have to do something special for that one. But welcome, everybody. I hope you're in the mood because we are only a handful of days away from the next race day. On Saturday, it's the Summer Spectacular. Championships are getting serious now, and we're going to have some incredible action all day on Saturday. There's no doubt about it. Packed show for us today as well, so I'm going to get straight into it. We're going to be welcoming out Louis Ruff from the Williams Automobiles just down the road, my old stomping ground, Chipping Sobry. Amazing place with some incredible cars there, the Automotive Partner for the circuit. And we're going to chat about the company, about Louis Ruff's racing himself, all of that kind of stuff, or track days and whatever else he gets up to. Plus, we're then bringing out the two outright race winners of the Hot Hatch Championship races at the last race day. And very emotional for both of them, I have to say. So we're going to have a chat with them about that day, about their racing journey so far and what the future could hold, as well as previewing what Saturday's going to look like. On that note, before I bring out our guests, let's get in the mood for what is coming up on Saturday. I know I need an updated one of that, but I just love the legacy element of all of that as well. A couple of messages coming in. Don't forget, get your comments, get your questions, especially when we get the guests out. Tim Perry, one of the Orange Army. Hello, everyone. Managed to get home in time. Dilly dilly. I did see your message earlier, mate, and I'm impressed you made it back in time. Dilly dilly to you indeed, buddy. Our very own Emma Strawford. Evening, Emma. Evening, Dawsy lad. Evening, Em. Have you got a French red in hand? I hope so, Em. See you on Saturday. I know we will in the media centre. And our very own Caroline Sutton. Evening to you, Caroline. As we said earlier, I was chatting off air. The last race day was very emotional with Nathan Sutton getting that class victory, and that choked him up, as I'm sure it did you as well, Caroline. Very, very special indeed. Right, let's bring out our first guest. As I've said, Automotive Partner of the company. For petrolheads like me, frankly, an incredibly exciting place to go. I'm going to bring him out. He is, I'm trying to find the right bit to press now. There we go. He's from Williams Automobiles. It's I've got to double check this with him. The business development manager, I think, but he'll correct me in a minute. It's Louis Ruff. Evening, Louis.
Evening, Chris. Evening.
Are you going to correct me on your role now, aren't you?
I am the head of business, but any role would do. Yeah, any role would do.
Do you know what? Actually, I had head of business development, but sorry, that was me thinking ahead. But head of business, I've got you. I knew I'd get something wrong. I told you.
A title somewhere, yeah, it means nothing.
How the devil are you, sir?
I'm very well. I'm very well. It's good to be part of it this evening, and looking forward to having a chat with you.
Well, I mean, I'm going to go right to the beginning because I said to you earlier that it's my old stomping ground. Yate and Chip in Sodbury, went to what was King Edmund School at the time, and had many nights of debauchery up on the Sodbury High Street and everything. And just tucked away from that, frankly, was this incredible place that, if I'm honest, I didn't know existed. Now, at which point did that come into existence?
Yeah, so way back when the company is next year 115 years old.
Wow.
Always Bristol based and still family owned and run. It's fourth generation currently. So yeah, when the business was 100 years old, Henry, current managing director, brought it out to the outskirts of Chipping Sodbury. And set up on his father's farm, I suppose. It's we're converted barns, very Cotswold style. No one knows we're here, but yeah, we probably have 70 cars on site, so it's a big place now.
That's incredible. I mean, and don't say very Cotswold like because my old mate Tom Davis will start. He's been trying to claim that Chipping Sodbury is Cotswolds for a long, long time as he lives there. It's not. I'm not having it.
We're the other side of the common, so we can. I think we can get away with it. Just
Borderline, yeah,
yeah,
okay. You've got cows and a golf course in between
yeah.
and all of that sort of stuff. I got you. That's fine. Okay, fair enough. Just quickly, I'm going to quickly catch up with some messages. Emma Strawford's confirmed it's red. Goose from the Quarry Hardcore evening. Looking forward to the Mazdas, especially as Matt Hallam, one of the few Quarry Hardcore left, and also Ben Hayward is racing in the hot hatch. Medic Mason, evening Dawesy, and hope you are all well. Indeed, our very own Cat from the racing club Hello All, currently sat in the paddock waiting for a big truck to arrive. That's not prison lingo either. Best of luck to everyone coming along on Saturday. Absolutely bless you, Cat. She's waiting there for everyone to get there ahead of testing tomorrow. Darren Griffiths, looking forward to the interviews with Joe and Julian, and Justin Holloway, evening all, also from the hot hatches as well. Sorry, Louis, if I don't keep on top of it, I end up with too many to catch up with, mate. It's terrible.
You're popular.
No. The show, the
Yeah.
circuit. That's what this is all about. The circuit, the racing club, all of that sort of thing. It's brilliant fun to get everybody involved, which is why it's lovely from your side. Williams Automobiles. What's the company's involvement with the circuit?
Yeah, so for a number of years, we've had a close relationship to the circuit. Myself and Henry do race and have raced at Castle Combe, not often enough, really. But yeah, we do our own charity track day at the circuit. We attend lots of different events from a trade stand or to just a normal punter. This year, we've chosen to come on board as the sort of automotive partner and try and build that relationship further. Early days at the minute, but we're 20 minutes away from the circuit, so I feel like we should be doing more, and our customers can then be more aware of Castle Combe as well. Really, it's an exciting time, and it's always been there. It's always been a good relationship, but I feel like we can move forward with it and build on it.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like a no-brainer, I think, is the phrase that
Yeah.
automatically comes to my mind. I mean, before we go on to the motorsport side of the organisation, let people know what cars that you guys are involved with.
Yeah, so currently we're main dealers for Morgan, Caterham, and Norton Motorcycle. We've recently just moved away from Lotus. We're all petrol heads, and the electric side of Lotus wasn't appealing anymore. But we did that for 27 years, so we know what we're doing, and probably know what we're doing with the cars that everyone watching this show will want to know about. We always look at different manufacturers, but I would say Morgan is definitely where we're most comfortable. We're probably the biggest, definitely in the UK, but probably the world for Morgans. Even though we're only probably an hour away from the factory, I'd say we've probably got more cars here than they do.
Really?
So and that business it's always been sports cars, but like I said before, it's been many generations, and To name a few, they were big Austin dealers back in the day, down in Fish Bonds, which a lot of people might know of or bought cars from. They've been sort of outskirts of Bristol selling Mazda for a while, and sort of cars like that, I suppose. But yeah, now it's just what we enjoy and the brands that we enjoy, and that was sort of Henry's goal with moving it out after 100 years to sort of just close down normal sort of cars, I suppose, and move into just sports cars.
I was about to say it is like the mainstream's gone now, isn't it? And it's the special ones that, I mean, for people to know, that's selling them, that's maintaining them, all
Correct.
of the
Yeah,
above, isn't
sales, service, parts for those manufacturers. We also do a lot of specialist cars, and we will actively look and sell specialist cars, any sort of makes. Really, we do work on a lot of different cars. Yeah, mainly people that want to spend money on their cars as opposed to just a service. It's more sort of upgrades and sort of track preparation, and those sorts of bits, as opposed to just a general service. But yeah, I have a team of probably 15 here now and six technicians. So yeah.
Wow. That is incredible. I mean, I kind of almost get in my mind, especially when you said that you've probably got more Morgans on site than the Morgan factory. Um, which incidentally, I bought my dad for, I can't remember if it was for his birthday or Christmas, the Morgan factory tour, because I've still
Yeah.
not even been there, which I've heard is great to go and see. And so I bought it for him and I to go up and do. And we've just got to get the date in the diary. But I'm thinking now, by the sounds of it, I should be arranging to take him to see you guys at some point as well.
Yeah, you definitely should come down and have a little coffee here. But the factory is an impressive place, and watching the guys still hand build these cars is quite impressive in this day and age. The coach building that goes on and the skills that are involved is something to see. Yeah, I definitely, you should go up there and visit the factory. But anybody that's into cars, we get people. We are tucked out of the way, but we get a lot of cyclists or people like that are just sort of on their way through, and then turn back round and come in and, oh, I'm a petrol head. What can I look at? Yeah, only yesterday or the day before, we had two sort of motorway police officers pull off and were like, oh, we were on the junction of 18 and thought we'd just pop and have a little look. Sort of. So it's a cool place out here. So it's a real in the sun as well. You've got a nice patio that come and have a coffee on and stuff. So we do get lots of different visitors for sure. We are sort of appointment only when it comes to the car selling side of the business, just to be able to give the customers a lot of time. They're quite niche products, and so it needs special attention to that. Walk-ins isn't really our thing, but when it comes to people visiting, yeah, for sure, we're sort of open for anybody to come and look around.
I'll pre-arrange when I'm going to
Yeah,
bring my old
yeah,
man to have a look, but I got
yeah.
to do that definitely. Because it does sound incredible. I mean, where does the motorbike side come in? Norton Motorbikes. I mean, that sounds like
Yeah,
a bit of a stretch away.
yeah. So the family have never done motorbikes before. Norton, in essence, approached us. They wanted to do something different to the normal motorbike showroom. So places like Fowler's, I suppose, which are great and really know their trade. Norton wanted to step away from that a little bit, and so have approached a fair few sort of car dealers. I know that there's many other places in the UK that are just like us that have taken on Norton. As a sort of it was the right brand. I feel it's got lots of heritage. It's British. It's quirky. It sort of fits with what we do out here. And yeah, we've been selling quite a few now into local areas. So I'm sure you see a few more bikes around. They're not for everybody because they are quite classic in design and what they offer, compared to sort of different manufacturers. But for me, they're really cool. They're something that you'd want, and feel special on, really.
Yeah, I don't think there's many others that would be any more perfect, to be honest, with to team up with you guys. I mean, almost like the Morgan and the Norton. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, that's like a frame that you'd put on the wall, isn't it?
I've sold a fair few now Nortons to Morgan customers, so it's definitely something that goes hand in hand, really. And I was surprised that people rode bikes that bought cars from me. You just assume that they just drive cars and that's that. But yeah, as soon as we took the dealership on for Norton, it's been a success.
I love that. I know you do caterhams, and I am obsessed with caterhams in terms of the fact from a commentator's perspective, it's one of the most fun things you can commentate on. There's just always loads of action. I've been in the passenger seat of one round Donington Park, which was terrifying because at 6'3" and not a slim Jim, that doesn't fit very nicely. But bizarrely, I've never driven one, and I keep getting offered the chance, and hopefully one day it'll come off because they look so nimble and brilliant. But Morgans, and I've always loved it. I've commentated on the Morgan Championship enough times as well, and I'm always amazed. They do not look like they are great race cars, but they blooming well are. Because they're made of wood, for goodness sake, aren't they?
Yeah, there is. So I actually race a Morgan myself, and people are surprised at how capable they can be. I think it's just basic. They are actually quite light. The wood helps with that. And yeah, they're not heavy cars, and by the time you strip them out, so Morgan, just a road going Morgan is around a ton, and that's it. So by the time you start stripping that back, they can be quite light. Typically, the ones that are raced are then quite big engines or V8s. Mine's a turbocharged BMW engine, so it's you can get some quite powerful engines at the front, rear wheel drive. It's quite basic stuff, but it can sort of make a half decent race car. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that was not derogatory in saying it. And it was mainly the weight perception that you have in your mind of anything. But then again, it's got that beautiful, sleek, classic, long look to it. I mean, that's one hell of a long nose on it. And I adore it that you get to see what you guys are doing in that car. You can't hide anything from us. We get to see it all.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to race. I'm into all sorts of cars, and I do like my classic cars. And I feel this is probably the closest you can get to racing a classic without the maintenance that goes involved to some extent. Classic cars and classic race cars, engine rebuilds and stuff like that. Where Morgans, you can get quite modern engines in something that looks quite old. So yeah, it's cool.
Is that why? Because I have to say, and I'll be honest and say I haven't seen it yet this year, but traditionally the grids have been good numbers, and I guess that's really from what you're saying there is that you can do a lot to them.
Yeah, so my car and what it's sort of set up for is just the Morgan Challenge, which is just a grid full of Morgans. It's a series that is always got a consistent number of cars on it. It's quite good racing, quite fair racing. There's different classes as with anything, so it's we also race caterhams here, and that's a totally different thing again. Very big grids but all single make, single power stuff. So yeah, the Morgan stuff is a little bit more relaxed. And whatever car you turn up in, you can fit into something and race people. But yeah, I would say it's a decent grid size. I'd love there to be more cars or more new cars entered into the championship, but I'm sure that will come in time.
Yeah, and there's always that one. Is it the Aero, the one with the roof on?
Yeah, so you got the Aero, which a lot of people call it quite ugly. I think it's grown into something now that's very different, almost a collector's car now. So yeah, they did make that as a coupe or an optional hardtop with a roof. And you could say it wasn't popular, but the people that did buy them they've held money really well, and if anything, going up in value now. So not a bad proposition back then.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying to my wife. It's fine that I'm ugly because it works fine. But I love that one when I see it on the grid. I think maybe it is because it stands out, but I think it's absolutely wicked. There's
a couple of race ones out there as well. I think even the factory took one to Le Mans way back and raced it, and they didn't do very well, but they did complete the 24 hours. So I think that was an achievement for them.
I agree. I was about to say I thought I remembered that they'd gone over there for
Yeah.
that, and you got to win it, finish it first, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that's a big deal. And I love the fact as well on that grid, and I think it must be. I'd be interested to hear, is it relevant from your customer base perspective as well? It's all too easy to assume that it's going to be older racing drivers and it's older customers, but it really isn't by any
No,
stretch of the imagination.
you do have those guys typically, and they've raced their Morgan for a long time, or it's been family owned. But yeah, in recent times, there's been sort of younger ladies and gents that have come into it purely from the fact that it's quite a pretty grid. It's something that isn't taken too seriously.
Good driving standards as well.
Yeah, the standards are good, and ultimately the cars are quite expensive to build and that initial outlay. But when it comes to them running the cars, it's actually not that bad, and that can be a real plus, I suppose.
Who's the young lad? Is it Elliot something? I'm trying to
In
remember
the
now.
Morgan, yeah.
Yeah,
So you've got Elliot Patterson, which he's
that's
another,
it.
he's another Morgan dealer actually in
Oh,
Scotland.
sorry.
Yeah, I know, swearwood.
Sorry, my bad.
But no, I get on with Elliot really well, and his father, and yeah, they were racing with me at Cadwell like 3 weeks ago, actually.
Oh, geez, round Cadwell. I can imagine them going over the mountain is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was good fun. It's tight around there, but there's a few passing places, I suppose. So yeah, really nice track.
I do love that. Justin Holloway lives in my neck of the woods in Swindon. He says, "Good series, the Morgan Challenge. My neighbour, Mr. Nigel Stuckey, races with you."
Indeed, he does. Yeah, Nigel's a good guy, and yeah, good supporter of the Morgan Challenge. So.
I love it. That's fair dues. That means he's not that far away from me if he's Justin's neighbour. Caterhams as well. Do you race Caterhams, or is that you because you
Yeah,
runs
I've
them?
never raced a Caterham. Driven them a lot, and the track days and stuff. They're perfect for even in road form. They're just very light on brakes, tires, and everything else. And yeah, they're
Oh,
very
are they?
quick around it. Yeah, they're just again because the car's so light, it doesn't really kill the brakes or the tires, to be honest. So you could drive and do a track day and drive it back home again, pretty much no problem.
Ah,
So yeah, they're very good, but we do race, and Henry's raced the MD Caterham for a number of years. The sales manager here, Lyndon, built his academy car at the garage here, and then raced it a few years ago. And we typically run about 10 cars a year for different customers,
wow.
taking their cars. So I know all the guys put the cars on the truck and went up to Croft today for racing this weekend. So yeah, they've got a long old drive up.
They do, yeah. That is one of those ones that just you think you get to. Where do I normally get to? Sheffield, and think I'm nearly there. No,
Yeah.
not. And then you get to Leeds and go, well, I must be nearly there. No,
Yeah. No.
still a long way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but mind you, those Caterhams are going to be epic round Croft. Thinking about it, because that's just an open, sweeping circuit, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the guys enjoy it there, and you've obviously got the sort of tight last corner there. So it's always a bit of action down the start finish. It's amazing, you've got a couple of Caterhams that come up to Combe, but when it's a grid full of Caterhams, the sort of skill that goes into the toe just down the straight is sort of mind blowing, really.
Yes.
Places like Thrupston and Zandvoort and places like that, they go. It's no one knows who's going to win. To be honest, it's just a last lap gamble. So
I call it the fastest game of chess. That's basically
yeah,
my
yeah,
description of it, because you don't want to be in the lead until you've come out of the last corner on the last lap.
exactly. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, because obviously there's a few different championships around the country, and when you've got, say, I don't know, let's call it a 20-minute race, and in fact I think one goes for 25 minutes either, and it's like going, it really doesn't matter. It's just posturing and fun for the first,
yeah,
3/4 or more of it. Then it
yeah.
becomes the race for the last 5 laps or something.
That's it. Yeah. No,
It
it's,
is
it's
good.
a good sort of again good series. It supports us. Caterham themselves as a manufacturer really back the championship, and we sell new academy cars from here, typically again 5 to 10 cars for people to go race and learn to become a race driver. Part of the academy package, which is it's nice to see. You see people that come in that are really green and they don't even know what an ARDS test is or where to buy a helmet, to then fully into it 2 years later and got a trailer and everything and testing and whatnot. And yeah, it's good to see that everyone's a petrol head at heart in that sense. And when they start getting on the journey for racing, they it's nice to see that they've been bitten by the bug, should we say? So.
Yeah, and you would do in a Caterham, let's be honest. And it is a great place to learn your trade because there's no aerodynamics, there's no slicks or anything like that. It's little wheels on these things at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And they're just bricks, so that the slipstream is quite amazing, isn't it? And I tell you what, I think is a shame that we don't have the classics out
You need
anymore.
a sip of your gin and tonic, don't you?
I do. In a minute, I will do. But I think it's a shame that they don't have the classics with the windscreens and that on the front anymore, because they were even more slipstreamy because of not having the open front, weren't they?
That's it. Yeah. So some of the sort of what was the Lotus 7 cars and stuff like that were out racing. Yeah, I think you still see some of those out racing nowadays. I've not HSCC or something like that, I think, do something. But yeah, it'd be good to see some more Caterham stuff at Castle Combe. I know that there's a couple of other championships that have gone up there. I'm not sure if there is this year, but
don't think we do this year, because they all sort of like rotate round and things like that, don't they? And I definitely would love them, because going up Avon Rising towards Quarry, that's just slipstream heaven all the way down the start finish straight folly up Avon Rise. It's just it's just fabulous. Yeah, well, exactly right. Even getting messages coming in from another person that I know has raced Caterhams, and I'm sure we'll jump in some more. A guy called Chris Savage. Evening, Sav. And he says he's off to Croft tomorrow. He sort of runs people now more than anything. Unfortunately, he's had a battle with cancer that I think you're winning from memory, Sav. So keep going, buddy. But and hopefully that means we'll see you back out in the car and what have you. And he says the best thing I've raced was the Caterham. Apart from when you were upside down at Thruxton, Sav. I don't think that was the right way to race, mate. But yes, I mean, it just literally is. Everybody has fun. They're just really nimble things to have some fun into. Probably the nearest thing to a single seater that a lot of people will get into as well.
Yeah, and I think like you said, people starting out, you can really learn to how the car moves and learn to trust the car. Learn a bit of racecraft, because it's all single make, single sort of brake horsepower, I suppose. So it's all about you as a driver, to be honest. Going back to then their road cars, they're essentially the same. So people that buy them and then do track days and stuff, it's a great thing to have. Not practical at all, but probably, like you say, the closest you can get to something that's a bit single-seater race car sort of style. I know there's been quite a few now GB4 sort of drivers and stuff using Caterhams to get some seat time, going back to my point of a bit easier to sort of maintain and stuff. So I know that's sort of been the next step for them, just to learn tracks and whatnot, but similar sort of car.
Yeah, because your track days in single seaters is very limited, so it means they still get out there in something like that. It does make sense. By the way, Sav has said his upside down at Thruxton was great footage, so definitely the onboard and everything as well. But I guess when we say that the Caterhams are impractical, they're not, because they're a lot easier to get into a garage than most other cars, aren't they? So even if it's something that you only become a fair weather road driver on, you are able to tuck them away a lot easier than most.
You are right in that sense, and that's we do get some of the bikers that are then moving away from two wheels, want a frill, don't have much garage space or whatnot, and they do naturally come into Caterhams from that. So I could say you're right there, but there's sort of no not practical in as much as getting in and out with roll cages as well. So
I got papped as I was getting in and out of that caterum through the roll cages, and I did not look graceful in the slightest. It was not pretty, but it was good fun. It was good fun. Although I prefer that, I don't like it when other people are in control, but that's a different story altogether. Do you find? I mean, do you sell them all ready to go, or do you sell the kit version as well?
Both. So Caterham
it is
still
both.
Caterham still offer that as a package. It's essentially an option to have it built. Otherwise, if you don't tick it, it will come in boxes and you have to build it yourself.
Because that's part of what some people love, isn't it, though?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. And we do sell cars to people that only have one intention, and that's to build it and then sell it back to us. So it's there's colleges and stuff like that out there that buy cars from us to teach their sort of the younger guys how to put stuff together and all those sorts of things. So it's still a good thing that's out there. It's sometimes quite amazing that then we can then put it back on the road and brace it around and all those sorts of things. But yeah, it's still something that Caterham offer on their options list.
It makes sense. That does. So, if anybody's, do you know what? I'd not clocked that Caterhams are so good for track days. I'd always fancied one for a track day car, but I'd never clocked that they're so easy on brakes and tyres. So that makes it even more appealing. Whereas the Morgan, I guess that's for the more discerning people there, or something to that effect, because they're not cheap, are they? I mean, neither are Caterhams, to be fair, but.
Yeah, you're right. Caterhams, if you do have an off, should we say, like to fall apart, so they will require a bit of money spent. But Morgans typically, as a road car, are not set up for track. To be honest with you, it's something that you can get it quite capable quite quickly. But a road going Morgan is more for your driver around the Cotswolds type thing and those sorts of things. Quite capable cars, the newer cars that are out now with the BMW engines, so quite quick things. But yeah, Caterham out the box, no matter if it's the slowest one or the fastest one, will go around the track all day, every day, and you'll get a lot from it. Which is why they're so good. We sell the Lotuses as well, and again they're very good round track, but compared to a Caterham, you still would have more fun in the Caterham.
I mean, the thing I always find interesting about the Morgan is that it's a classic. I mean, I don't know how to say this. It's a classic car that they're still making.
Yeah, people say like you could call it a resto mod, and it sort of is to some extent. It's new bits, but it looks old. They built the ladder frame traditional chassis for a very long time, sort of 70 years, which you could say then is 1950s design, pillar suspension on the front, leaf rear, drum brakes. Very old school, but then with a modern engine and modern underpinnings. The last 5 years, that's changed to a bonded aluminium chassis with the new BMW engines. So it's become more of a modern day sports car. But yeah, it still looks really old. It looks, like I say, 1950s in that sense. So it is sort of a resto mod, really. But proper manufacturer, still made in the UK, in sunny Malvern. So.
Exactly, in the ways that they used to. I just think it's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful car without question. Did I see on your website you've got one of the three-wheeled ones for sale?
Yeah, so obviously that's where Morgan started with the three-wheeled three-wheeler. So they brought that back in 2012 with an S&S engine, very very similar design to the old cars back in the 30s. And sort of reborn the car. I've got a couple of those for sale, and then the latest variant of that is a Ford petrol engine, car engine, which is water cooled, and that's called the Super Free. So they're still making a three-wheeled vehicle out for the roads, which is very different, very very strange to drive, I suppose. Very exhilarating, and you don't need to go that quick because you've got nothing around you. You're sort of hanging out the sides. Yeah, not for everybody. Again, probably less practical again than a Caterham, but nothing else will drive like it. So.
No, I think they're incredible cars. They really are. Norton bikes speak for themselves. Classic, beautiful bikes. And I think bikers, once they're into that, they're obsessed with the way they used to be made, whether it's a Norton, whether it's an Indian or whatever the heck it might be, is that you get sort of like, that's my thing. It's quite quite militant, I think, some of them as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you're right.
no, I love that one. WilliamsAutomobiles.com, is that correct?
It is indeed.
And I guess the idea is keep an eye on that, because that the stock pages change.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're forever changing stock and buying in different cars. Like I said, typically have anywhere between sort of 50 to 70 cars here on site. And anybody that's local to us, pop in and have a look around. We're sort of only 20 minutes from Castle Combe, so come and have a coffee and have a look. We do also hire cars, which is very popular this time of year. So people that want to experience a Morgan or a Caterham, we do offer that as well.
Ooh, I might be in touch with you about some of those there. That's a good point as well. Presumably not so much for proms, but for us people that are actually love the whole thing about them. What have I not said that you would like to get out there, Louis?
Nothing at all, Chris. Yeah, like I said, everyone's welcome, and I'm always at the circuit myself. So if you see me, do say hello. Like to be a bit more known at the circuit, and if we can help anyone in any way, I've got some good technicians here from a motorsport point of view that understand lots of different things, and everyone here is a petrol head, really. So no, it's all good, Chris.
Love it. The problem is, I'm aware, Louis, that you and I could probably carry on chatting forever and ever and ever and ever.
You got two more people, yeah.
I do. So I'm going to stop it there and say thank you so much for coming on, Louis. And I can't wait to catch up with you at the circuit. And it's so good to see an obvious relationship kicking forward. It's the best way to put it, isn't it?
That's it. No, thanks for having me on, Chris. And good luck to everyone racing on Saturday, especially the two boys coming on in a minute.
Fabulous. Louis, from Williams Automobiles, thank you, mate. We'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, bud.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you very much.
Incredible. Honestly, go to that website, williamsautomobiles.com, and you'll just be drooling. It's just incredible selection, and I'm going to have to go in there at some point. Quickly, before I bring on my next two guests, let's just have a quick preview of what this weekend is going to be looking like. We've got, obviously, all of our local championships are there. The GT championship, we're looking at more than 20 cars are going to be out this time, so it's going to be brilliant. Kind of seems to ebb and flow. We had low GT numbers last time, good Formula Fords. For whatever reason, the Formula Fords are low this time, but the GTs are massively high. So over 20 of them. Things like Dave Scaramanga, his R8 has got a problem, so he's out in a Ferrari this time. So that's going to be really exciting to watch that one. Obviously, Dylan Popovich is going to be out. As well as normal. We've got Tim and Nick Adams in the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup. Hopefully the likes of Keith Butcher and Jordan Billington will be out as well. So we'll see that. Ferrari 488 it is that Dave Scaramanga's out as well. Tom Walpole's due to be back out in his incredible KTM GT4 Evo as well. And Josh Smith in his Suzuki Hayabusa powered Caterham. A little bit different to what Louis' lot get involved in, because they've thrown a stupid Suzuki. Well, it probably isn't. Those guys probably do it at Williams as well, to be fair. Also in the, I'm not going to talk hot hatch because we're on to them in a minute. The Saloon Car Championship, currently being led by Mike Good, the South Sunny Engineering Saloon Car Championship, but only by 2 points. Mark Wyatt, 10 years after he won it the championship previously. Wayne Rushworth, neck and neck behind him, only 2 points back. Kieran Simmons, good to see him back. And James Keeping in his ZR after his health challenges. Nathan Sutton, very emotional victory that we saw in class in his late father's MGZR. And bless him, that definitely the emotions grabbed him on that one. Harrison Chamberlain, he'll be back in his golf, hopefully, but he tops the class, but he's having a challenging year as well. Bill Brockbank, Adam Preble. Interesting one, Simon Thornton Norris is back in the Mitsubishi Colt. It's been a while since we've seen him, so we look forward to seeing that. I have been told that Jonathan Wills is a late entry in his milestone. He says, "Hi all, looking forward to Saturday. Going to be a few late nights like many others, I'm sure, but you'll get it out, Jonathan. I'm still yet to come to your place as well and see all your restoration cars and everything as well at South Cerney Engineering, the title sponsors. Incidentally, one of our Orange Army, Tim Perry, says, cheers, Louis. See you at the circuit." So great to see that engagement. Formula Ford's championship leader, Rory Smith's not there. So Luke Cooper's going to be determined to make it 2 out of 2 and get himself up into the lead of the Motul championship standings. Nathan Ward, who actually finished the second Formula Ford race on a flat tyre. He thought that it was gone, but when we got into the Parc Fermé, it was punctured and flat. It was unbelievable. But the fight he had with Richard Higgins, who is back out, that's going to be brilliant to watch. Class B is epic. What else? Oh yeah, and there's Sam Skellett. How interesting is the other Swift Cooper Racing Team's young driver? He was really impressive last time out. And Wayne Paul leads Class C. How lovely is that to see that one? As well as our local championships, I will, as I say, move on to the hot hatches in a minute when we bring the boys out. We've got the Norman Lackford Memorial race. Of course, someone that anybody who's been at the circuit for any number of years will know. He's a guy that just bled racing. He was just an amazing guy that we sadly lost not that long ago. And in his self-built Saxon and a Radical, drove up from Cornwall with his good lady. So it's only right we've got another memorial race for him. Almost all of them are Radicals, which are wicked round Castle Combe, let's be honest, apart from we've got Darcy Smith out in his Wolf, which is just such a cool looking car. So it would be great to see those. Of course, though, we used to have Radicals in the GTs until they were banned. So it will be great to see in the special GTs. They'll be back out as well. So championships are incredibly close. Norman Lackford. We've also got the Mazda 5 Club Racing. They're going to be out. What did I say? We had numbers for those guys in terms of the entry list. It was like 35 cars or something we've got in the Mazda 5s. Hang on, there we go. I counted it and I forgot to write it down. It's something like 35 of them. So absolutely epic for all of those. So don't miss the action. In terms of the timetable, we start at 8:30 as always with the qualifying. First one out will be the Avon Tuning GT Championship, then the Motul Formula Fords, the South Cerney Engineering Saloon Cars. Then it's the 750 Motor Club's 5 Club Racing MX5 Championship, Norman Lackford Sports Prototypes, and then the Nankang Tyres Hot Hatch Championship. 3 races before lunch, so they start at 11:20. So Goose, don't be late, mate. Don't be late there this time. Thanks, Louis. I got that message. No problem. You can't be late, Goose, getting up to Quarry because 11:20 is the GT Championship, the Formula Fords, and the first of the MX5 races. 3 MX5 races we've got, which is brilliant. The lunch grid walk is the Nankang Tyres Hot Hatch Championship, as long as we've got time. And then it obviously, therefore, will be them racing after that lunch break. All the way through the sequence, finishing up with the South Cerney Engineering Saloon Car Championship at the end of the day. And we're right up towards curfew, so it's worth bearing in mind. Jonathan Will says, coffee waiting, Chris. Thank you, mate. I know, it's down on me, that one, isn't it? I'm so busy that I haven't had a chance to drop down, but I promise you I will, because I can't wait to see the cars that you guys are working on. Kieran Simmons, evening, just working on the car as we speak and not going too well. That's not what I want to hear, mate, because you are going well in the championship. Good to see you back in the Fiesta. I hope we will see you there, mate. Gotta love race cars. I think the two above have just gone, yeah. Actually, the three, because Louis still there as well. They've gone, yeah, race cars, they do that. Actually, Louis going, yeah, race cars do that. That's why we got a business. Joe's going, no. Paul Wiltshire says 35 Mazdas. That's insane. Looking forward to that as well as the GTs and Mazda MX-5s. There again, another one. It's just epic to watch. I'm going to be busy in that commentary box with those. Right, let's bring out our next guests without further ado. Great success that they had in the last race meeting. The May Madness weekend, Bank Holiday Monday, wasn't it? They got an outright victory apiece, and it clearly meant a lot to them. Let's bring them out. Evening, gentlemen. Let me put you two at the top. I'll go down at the bottom.
Good evening.
Julian Fisher with the Fiesta. For those of you who may remember, it's the white Fiesta with the orange stripes. Joe Hathaway in the Renault Clio that is... It's quite dark blue, isn't it? But it's definitely blue. It's fairly dark.
Nearly purple, but quite dark blue, yes.
Is it nearly purple? I've obviously inherited my dad's colour blindness. But welcome, gents. Have you guys pulled yourself off the ceiling after that weekend? Joe, I'm going to start with you because you got the first outright race victory.
I still don't think it's fully sunk in, if I'm completely honest. We've been messaging throughout the past couple of weeks, and I think the both of us is still sort of, unbelievable that it actually happened, to be honest.
I love that because you two, I know that, and we will come on to this in more detail, the Hot Hats is one of the areas you race elsewhere as well, and you've both had success in those areas, but it just meant something, Joe, for you to get not just a class victory, but an outright victory.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, the past couple of years for the pair of us have been sort of, it's gone quite well, but we've also had very few lows as well. And the start of this year as well wasn't very good. So for it to all sort of come together and just basically the perfect weekend was just unbelievable. And, the emotions were just through the roof, as you can probably imagine.
I was there, mate. I did the interviews. I know full well they were, which was just so lovely to see. I mean, Julian, I remember doing the interview where we couldn't go on the track, could we? We went back round the paddock and you were absolutely ecstatic with third, I think, from memory, wasn't it, overall?
Initially, yeah. I was extremely surprised to have achieved that.
Which then puts in perspective why you were so emotional when I then spoke to you that you got the outright victory in the second race.
Well, starting from pole, I didn't think I had a hope of holding on to it. And yeah, as the race progressed, and hang on a minute, I'm managing to hold them off. And yeah, the whole race, well, and it's not going to last, but yeah, like Joe said, it hadn't really sunk in, and it was an extreme surprise to actually, but to finish high in class is one thing, but to get the overall is a completely different kettle of fish for that.
100%, and it was great to see that. I think it was the emotional progression as much as anything else as well for us to see that enabled us to sort of go, driver of the day has to just be something. It was the emotion that swung us in the end because both of you deserved that with what you achieved. I mean, Joe, you have had, you alluded to it then, is that it's been a challenging season. I mean, when we take that, the last race meet, you got a first and a second, which is a blooming good race meet, and the fastest lap as well in that second race. But nothing, you weren't out for the first rounds, were you?
No, we missed Howard's Day because we were racing at Silverstone in March. I was leading the race there actually, and the engine decided to let go. First race of the year. We managed to turn the engine around to make it to Howard's Day, but I managed 4 laps in practice before qualifying and didn't even qualify. So it was just sat in the paddock and I was watching, spectating Julian on the pit wall.
I mean, that's got to be brutal, which is, I guess that's why the emotions were so high when you got that outright win then.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a lot of work and quite literally blood and sweat and some tears, and it just sort of all come together, and it was almost worth all of the hard work. Because it gets to a point sometimes where you think, oh, is it actually really worth it? But then you get a day like last race meeting, and yes, it is.
For those that don't know, you two actually, is it right to say race under the same team? Is that the right?
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. We're still undecided on a name, but we like to sort of think we're together.
No,
we certainly help each other wherever we can. But in saying that, we like to race with everyone. So if anyone needs any help, and either of us are in a position to help them, which I think a lot of the Combe paddock is the same.
I agree.
Yeah. It is one of the nice things about it, isn't it? Although I got to say, Tim Perry, one of the Orange Army, says, "Hey, the nutty boys, how are you doing?" Hey, that's not nice. But we've then got Formula Ford racer, serial Class B champion. Congratulations, gents. It's been a pleasure watching your journey from novices to race winners. Keep it up.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah. Races in your championship, in your class. Justin Holloway says, couldn't happen to two nicer chaps. Again, lovely sentiment, really, isn't it? Which does sum up the whole paddock, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Where I'm going to start with you, Julian. Where does your racing? I'm going to call it a career. Probably, but let's call it that because it's easier. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Where did this start?
Well, I bought a Fiesta just as a track toy, just to have some fun in and relieve a bit of stress. So I was just going to different track days, and then COVID kicked in. So I actually spoke to Emma, and she said, "Well, we can't do track days because of the restrictions, but we are racing, but it's all behind closed doors." So I thought I'd go racing, and at the time, that's about as much thought as I gave it.
Which, of course, that's where the Hot Hatch Championship was originally aimed at, wasn't it? Is that track day to go racing in reality? So did that mean, Julian, that it did provide that progression for you?
Oh, yeah. When I started, the car was basically standard. And over the years, again, a lot of blood, sweat and tears. I think I crashed on my second race meeting.
Oh, no.
Yeah, tyre wall jumped out in front of me.
They have a habit of doing that.
Yeah. And then just been there, because this is the 5th year now. So that was early 21 I started.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just been a progression.
Well, are you, and I'm going to ask the same of you in a minute as well, Joe, but are you mechanically minded?
Yeah, we do all of the work ourselves. I can lay my hand to most things. I might not be particularly good at it, but I can do most things. We've done sort of build the own car. I've got the engine done by someone else and gearbox done, and the electrics. But I try and do as much of it as I can.
So, and where I was going there, Julian, was not to trip either of you up, is to sort of bring it to life to people that kind of go, "Hey, do you know what? I can get my hands dirty, but I'm a bit worried because I don't know everything." It's like, that's fine.
No, because you actually rip a lot of the complicated bits off. So a lot of the mechanical side of it is relatively straightforward, and I do actually enjoy that side of it as well. Doing it time and time again gets a bit worn out when you have problems with certain bits, but in general.
Well, exactly right. But I mean, and I'm going to bring this again to both of you, is that we've already had some of the comments in. It's been wonderful watching you guys progress as racing drivers, but I've also been enjoying the engineering development of the car. And Julian, it's a Fiesta that is not all. it's kind of progressed what you're at the wheel of over the years as well.
Significantly, yeah. I actually had a look through TSL through the archives after the last race, looking at my sort of improvement, and I think I was steadily doing 1 minute 25 when I started. And over the years, it's knocked down, and now I think I'm in the 15. So over 5 years, I've knocked 10 seconds a lap off. So,
have you had any? Has there been any coaching, or is that literally from sort of doing it yourself and getting more used to it, etc.?
No, I blame Joe for a lot. He goes a little bit quicker, so I have to go a bit quicker, and then we've just been pushing each other along, which has been a large contributing part of us both getting quicker, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Pushing each other.
Yeah, and again, as I say, is that, you know, it wasn't a hidden agenda on that question. It was a very open agenda. It's like, that is what the Hot Hats Championship was designed to do. It was, you know, go from track days to racing, but you can now fettle the car, you can fettle yourself, you can get better. It's brilliant. And watching the comments coming in, Kieran Sims says, what's wrong with the Fiesta? Nothing, mate. Yours is great. Julian's is great.
When it
Both
works,
doing well.
they're brilliant. Yeah.
It is, definitely. Tim Perry says, I've seen Julian's journey both on track and off track, and it's been amazing. And side comment is that another one of the Orange Army, Dave Baggy Malpass, says, good evening, Mr. Dawes and all marshals and everyone else who's listening. Another packed race card, and hopefully everyone goes well. Dilly dilly, absolutely. Now, someone else, Justin says, true that. But Nick Gwinnett's chimed in, and I think this is probably more, unless you own a Clio, Julian, outside of racing, this is presumably aimed at Joe as well. Of course, he owns a Clio, so you've got to get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn to you now, Joe. What's your background? Where did you start in all of this?
I blame my dad, really. I think I was probably spectating at Combe from maybe 5 years of age, maybe even younger. And then obviously going through the years, getting older and saying, I'm going to do this. And then 18, got my race license, realised how expensive it was and had to save up. And then same with Julian, sort of COVID hit and a car come up for reasonable money. Started doing track days and then bumped into Julian on a test day. And he said, are you racing? I said, no. And he said, why not? Just come and race. And the rest is history.
Which was in the post, Julian.
Yeah, definitely a two-way street. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was around the same sort of time, around that 2020-21 time.
Yeah. So my first race was finals day in 21, which I believe was September.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think we met on a test day, sort of middle of the year, maybe towards the end of the year. Yeah. And then I just decided to jump on the last race of the year just to get my eye in, and then got the bug.
Absolutely. Was that in the Clio then as well?
It was in the white Clio, which was previous to the blue one.
Okay, so you've kind of not just fettled the car, but you've triggers broomed it as well.
Yeah. So it's a new shell, and it's had numerous engines and gearboxes now.
I take it the shell wasn't because the circuit furniture that jumped out at Julian jumped out at you as well.
No, it was. We sort of got to the point of development that it needed an awful lot of time and money going into the shell, and an already race-proven shell come up for sale that was lighter and better suspension, etc. So I just sort of moved towards that and did a little winter project.
So I assume then that kind of means that, you know, once you get yourself started on this, is that you are then able to sort of go, okay, I can afford something on the engine, something on the gearbox, something on the bodywork, and you kind of just add bits and pieces to it as and when you're ready.
Yeah. So I don't know about you, Julian. I think we're very similar. We sort of started off very standard cars and then just sort of got some experience, because I've always said that the best mod you can do is seat time, just by actually driving and just learning, and and then just maybe it doesn't quite go around the corner properly and you might go down the suspension route, or you want a bit more power and engine, so you can sort of pick what direction you want to go in first.
Don't you find it becomes a bit like the old lady that swallowed a fly And all of that is that you suddenly improve that and you go, oh, damn, that's made that bad. I need to now change that. And oh, damn.
Yeah, I think that's the problem pretty much everyone has in the paddock is you fix one thing and then find two more problems.
Yeah, absolutely. But have you enjoyed, Joe, as well, the the engineering challenge of it? I mean, is your background, are you mechanically before you did this?
Yeah, so up until last year, I was actually a full-time mechanic as my day job. So yeah, I do sort of like it was nice to sort of move away from the road car side of things and work on the motorsport side, because as Julian said, it's a lot simpler and you've almost got a bit more freedom with what you can do in terms of, you know, making brackets and trying to do this and does this work or not and things like that.
Got you. So have you enjoyed that progression, not just, and we'll come on to the driving in a second, but, you know, that you get to sort of learn the car and what can I do, and that fun of, even though I've said it's that swallow the spider to catch the fly and all that, although Justin Holloway says better to swallow a bank. But have you enjoyed that challenge and that intrigue?
Yeah, I've liked the challenge, and sort of really nice to see the progression as well from start to finish, because you saw when you start, you're almost like, it's so far in the distance, I don't think I'm ever going to get there, and then slowly you sort of get there and you're learning along the way, and you know, you just progressing, and it's almost never ending. You know, there's always more that you can do, which is obviously the next challenge. So it sort of keeps you on your toes and makes the driving more enjoyable, because, you know, if it works, then it goes really well.
Yeah. I just love hearing this because I get it. Tim Perry says, "Don't diss Uncle Fester." 2.5. I'm fine with the Fiestas; they're all good. Lewis Bird says it's been an amazing 5 years, both racing against and watch you both progress into race winners. Nick Mizzen says, evening, Nick. Good to hear from you, mate. Hope you're well. And Kat has said that she was like a big, proud sister that day, and I'm assuming she means last race day when you both got the wins, and she was emotional as that was all happening as well. But you must have sensed that there was that feeling across the board, guys, that it's that kind of paddock that everyone knows what's going on and cares.
Yeah, they really do.
It's a bit of a blank after the race, though, I've got to say.
Really?
I'm not really sure who I spoke to or anything.
Apart from me, you remember me because I told you what you got.
Definitely a bit of a haze after that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Which I mean is what makes it really, really lovely. I mean, what advice would you give to anyone? Because this is why I wanted this story, is that not only was it emotional on that bank holiday Monday, it's that progression, you know, and you both were starting in track days and we're like, well, why don't we start racing? And of course, then the hot hatch was a series. It's then become a championship. Suddenly things look a little bit more serious. Like I say, Julian sat second in Class A at the moment. Joe, just that, the no scores in that first one means that you're undoubtedly going to be playing catch up as well pretty darn soon.
Yeah.
And in fairness, Julian, you're only 6 points off the outright championship lead as well. Just digest that for a minute. It means you've really done that progression of track day, series, championship. So what's your advice? I'm going to start with you, Joe, to anybody that just is maybe track daying.
I would say come to a race meeting just to sort of experience it, and come and talk to us drivers. You know, all of us might look a bit scary, but I like to think we're all very nice people once you start talking to us. And just come and ask us some questions, either about the cars or how do you get into it. And all I've ever said to everyone is, if you're unsure, just do it. Just get your license and come and do a race. There's no better learning experience than actually just doing it.
Yeah, agreed. Because every car is sellable. Every race car is sellable afterwards, isn't it? Julian, Same question to you, mate.
No, it's basically the same as Joe. But if anyone ever wants any specific advice, just come and say hello. We're always willing to talk, unless we're trying to fix something, which unfortunately is quite regular. But they can always drop us a message if they want vehicle specific or how to get into it. something. So
Yeah.
we're always willing to help, and the circuit is more than happy to help with any questions that anyone's ever got as well. They're extremely helpful with any queries that I had, and including the scrutineers to check if you've got any questions with your vehicles, whether they comply or not, what you can and can't do, just for clarification.
No, I agree without question. Tim Perry actually said it was wonderful to see Julian and Joe back at their truck in the paddock at the end of the last race day. So they'll have finished their post-race marshals, beverage and what have you, and they've obviously wandered down to see you guys there. That's why it was a haze, Julian, is that...
And I think it was literally a haze there.
Yeah, exactly. Oi, Thatchers! Lewis Bird says, P.S. that tyre wall jumped out in front of me as well. So we've got to have a word with those barriers, haven't we? They're a bit out of order. They've been a bit naughty, I think. As I say, hot hatch, great championship, and we're sort of been at, you guys are a great living testimony to the championship itself. Castle Combe as well as a circuit, and I know you go off and do other things, but the spectators, the fan base there, as well as the paddock, the fan base, the marshals and all the officials and everything, is it such a tight-knit family that it must feel pretty darn special. And again, to bringing it home that we're even doing this show to talk about what you've achieved, that's what matters to everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Castle Combe's definitely going to have a very special place. It's where we prioritise to go, without a doubt. And the atmosphere, like you say, between everyone there, the marshals, the spectators, it is definitely something completely different to anywhere else we race.
Yeah, we've always said it's almost got the family sort of vibe around it, that we've always called it our family away from home sort of thing, because all of the drivers get on in the paddock, all the marshals always come and say hello and friendly, and all the the Combe staff and everything. It's just brilliant. Everyone's got good camaraderie, and we're going back to what we said earlier. If anyone needs any help, everyone's willing to do something, or trying to at least. And it's just such a tight community. It's really, really good.
And the spectator banks are always full. I mean, it's just amazing. Yeah. But I'm going to go to you, Joe, really, on this one. Is that does that put... I'm always interested in this. Does that put extra pressure on you? Bearing in mind, we're talking about people that went from track days, I fancy racing, and they go racing, to then have packed spectator bank. Did that put a pressure on you?
My first ever race, yes. I was extremely nervous, but I think the more you do it, you sort of get used to it. And I always try and think, well, the better I perform, the more enjoyable the time they're going to have on the bank. From being a spectator myself, to now it's sort of almost enhancing my driving, because you want to put on a good show for them as well. But that first meeting was definitely nervy, I must admit. Yeah,
mine too.
Was it, Julian? It was a bit of a pressure point, was it?
Yeah, petrified.
It is weird though, because we love it as well, don't we? We love the fact that we get to see all of that, because it is part of. You've said it. It's unique about Combe. It's always going to have a great atmosphere there. Tim Perry says we're all one big family at Castle Combe, and it also backs up. Well said, Joe. On those things, it is a very special thing. But I've always been intrigued of the pressure. I have it as well. Is that I'm like you, Joe. 5 years old, sat at Quarry Corner with my dad. Sadly, probably a lot of years earlier than you. But that was where I fell in love. And suddenly I'm in the commentary box, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's a big responsibility. But I always remind myself what I was thinking on the banks, like you do. And I find that interesting that you guys behind the wheel are thinking the same thing from a different perspective. I love it. Where else do you guys race then? You do is it the 750 Motor Club, isn't it? No, Classic Sports Car Club.
Classic Sports Car Club, yeah.
Okay, so that means you'll even be here when Classic Sports Car Club are here in August then?
Yeah, beginning of August.
Home court advantage.
Well, that means the expectation is going to be even higher, guys.
It's true.
What have you got in terms of aspirations, Julian, for going forward?
I just want to see if I can keep going with what I've achieved recently. But after the issues with mechanical failures, my main target is to see the checkered flag for every round for the rest of the year.
Wow.
That is all I want. I'm not too fussed about finishing position. I'm not expecting too much of myself or the car. I just want checker flags for both of us for the rest of the year.
Oh,
I like that one. Joe, same question to you.
Yeah, same answer for that this year after the start of the year we've had. And next year, I would like to finish and start every single race of the year. Because in the 4 or 5 years, I'm yet to do that.
Yeah, it's a hard ask in motor racing, isn't it?
It is a hard ask, yes, but that's one thing that I'm aiming for, is to start to finish every single round.
Yeah, I don't want to be thinking about championships or anything like that, because I get in my own head, overthink it, overdrive, don't do very well.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, that was going to be my next question, and again, it's to both of you. So I'll go to you first, Julian. Is there a monkey off the back feeling now that
I'll let you know on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never expecting that to be a definitive answer, but I do suspect that there could be that. I mean, Joe, same question to you, really.
Yeah, again, I think I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel once I get back into the car, but I do almost feel like there's a big sort of weight off my shoulders now that, you know, all of the hard work has finally come to something.
Yeah.
And
you know you can.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's proven that, you know, it's doable now. I can do it. The car can do it, and you know, there's almost no reason why we can't do it again.
Will another victory mean as much?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I suspected as much, but I got to ask. We got another message come in from Keegan D. Robinson. My kids love going to support Julian and Joe at Castle Combe, rain or shine. We are there watching them race.
Hopefully rain.
Oh, you're one of them, are you?
I am, yes.
Well, it appeared to work for me the last race, so I'm with Joe.
I mean, on that race, Julian, I mean, it genuinely was quite incredible, wasn't it? Because you got yourself in that lead, and I mean, it was a second and a quarter back. Is that you weren't even challenged in the end, I guess, is where I'm coming from.
Yeah, you said that to me after the race, a dominant win, but throughout the race, it honestly felt like they were right behind me.
Really?
Yeah, it felt like they were right there the whole time. I'm watching it back. Oh, okay, maybe they weren't that close.
Which, again, from your perspective, I could see the frustration in your eyes then, Joe. But it's my job to stir these things up, guys. It's my job to stir. But Joe, I mean, obviously, it was a brilliant victory with Joe. With Jason Stack in second place, just over a quarter of a second ahead of him. But it was a second and a quarter back from Julian. Did you feel that you could get him, or do you just think he broke the toe and that was it?
I think I was definitely catching towards the end, but I think sort of the start of the race to the middle, I was having so many different battles with Jason and Justin that we just lost a bit of touch with Julian, and we just ran out of time catching. But I was definitely pushing towards the end of the race. I nearly completely threw it off at Bobby's sort of 2 or 3 laps from the end. But the car just completely went sideways. So yeah, I sort of toned it back after that, but I was definitely pushing in the wet.
Which is good to know. You were desperately trying to catch him and do that, because I guess you guys are able to also appreciate that we don't and I say we, and I'm talking as a spectator and a fan rather than as a commentator. But as a commentator, I'm just a fan that's voicing, what we're thinking is that we don't always appreciate what's going on in the cars. With you, Julian, saying that no, they felt close, and you going, no, I was going to get in, but do you remember that we don't necessarily get that when you finish a race?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of thoughts in the car where we're, struggling to see in race 2, and in particular, and
yeah,
trying to literally. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll hold him, you hit him, Joe. That's fine.
And some cases where you're literally just trying to keep it on the tarmac and just make it to the checkered flag, whereas in the commentary box, you just see a car sort of drive by as if it's normal, So I do sort of think about that every now and again, that it is quite a big contrast from out to in.
It is, which is why when I then interview you guys, is that we're always trying to get that information out, going like, take us in there. What was going on, guys? That looked amazing, and sometimes there was something we didn't realise, we didn't see, we didn't appreciate, and things like that. But we definitely always appreciate what happened. I got a laugh though. Nick Mizzen says that he remembers seeing me sat on the bank at his first race in 1978. No, you don't, mate, because I was only 2 years old then, so I was not there yet. Tim Perry says, I do love getting to see Julian's onboard videos of the races, as it does give me a nice perspective of what the driver has to do and see. And therefore, let me bring that round circle again, Julian, to you again to start with, is we've just talked about us not necessarily appreciating whether it's the emotions, whether it's the physical things, whether it feels closer than it was or whatever it might be, but then seeing the onboards and getting the amount of work that you guys have to do. How does that feel to have gone from out to in, that you're now the one? So when you've got those onboards and you go, proper racing, dude. How does that feel?
Watching it back, it almost doesn't feel like it when you're in the car, because of the adrenaline and everything else, and you're concentrating on not making any mistakes, trying to get the best out of you and the car. Yes, I don't tend to think about it, to be honest. I just concentrate on trying to make it around.
But is that why it's good fun to have the onboards to watch back afterwards then?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it helps me see where I can improve as well, because I'm not much of one to look at data and things like that. It just all looks like a load of gibberish, really. Whereas watching it back, it's a lot easier to see it.
Same to you, Joe. I mean, but do you end up getting to appreciate it sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, when we watch the races back, I almost forget that it's actually me driving. I'm almost just watching it as a spectator again. But yeah, like Julian said, I think with the adrenaline, it's almost muffled some of it, because when I watch it back, I'm almost like braking, watching, thinking I'm not going to make it around this corner.
Yeah.
But,
Really?
But in the car, I'm sort of thinking, I need to go a bit quicker around that. Whereas watching it on the camera, I'm sort of like, oh wow, that was a bit close.
Yeah.
And talking about adrenaline, people deal with that sort of like in the assembly area before going out onto the grid, and then on the grid in different ways. Joe, would you, like, if I came up chatting to you, would you chat, or would you be sort of like, I'm in the zone now?
I would probably chat to take the thought off me trying not to throw up in the assembly area.
I'm like you. Whenever it's something I want to speak, I want to be distracted and things like that. Julian, what about you?
I think I'd probably just want to keep myself to myself and try and calm myself down. In the assembly area, I'm terrible. As soon as we get called out, I'm a lot better and calm down. But the anxiety and adrenaline in the assembly areas, I'm terrible with it. Like Joe was saying, feeling a bit queasy.
Yeah.
Do I need to take my helmet off?
But it's oddly addictive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I know when with my company Open Doors Training, I provide media training for business people and sports people is what I was going to come on to. And take drivers, it's like you guys will sit there strapped into this weapon to go, over 100 mile an hour into the first corner with 20, 30 of your bloodthirsty competitors around you. You would do that multiple times every single day if you could, but someone walking up to you with a microphone, that scares you and you don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Really, I think they're out of whack somewhat. I will never hurt you, So, but it is amazing that it is that sort of having that adrenaline. I get, like, say, for example, hopefully you guys will be at the end of season awards in November this year.
Yeah.
And obviously I have a privilege of hosting that and other events such as that. And I get, like, my wife will tell you, obscenely nervous. Not that anyone believes me, but I do get obscenely nervous. And I sometimes have that flickering moment, and I want to know if you guys get this, that flickering moment when you go, why am I doing this to myself? And then that goes because all the excitement happens and you go, that's why.
Yeah. You normally get that feeling just as you drive underneath the bridge.
Is it?
And then as soon as you get past the bridge, it just goes and you've got your eyes just set on one thing, which is going forwards.
Is it that early for you, Julian?
Even earlier, I'd say I'm really nervous in that assembly area. That's when I'm thinking, do I want to be doing this?
But then goes
Yeah.
as you go under the Nankang Bridge.
As soon as we get way forward to say go out on track, then I'm right. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. The fairly similar times for both of you. So that means that by the time you get to the grid, well, the green flag lap and the grid, you're at peace.
Adrenaline spiking and raring to go.
But not question it, not sit, not everything.
No,
you're like, let's do this,
all.
baby.
Yeah.
It's the good kind where you're like, right, let's rumble.
I love that. I'm just checking this one. Hang on. Right, so Justin Holloway says, I watched a lot of onboard videos before I started and was a constant critic. Tried it and then shut up. The videos don't really convey reality. Can you relate to that, guys?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, but it's interesting to hear that. I love that honesty from Justin, that he's kind of gone, I watched other people's onboards before I raced and I was like, what are you doing that for? What are you doing that for? And then realised, shut up, because it doesn't. But Julian, you said that they are useful when you're watching your own now, to some extent.
Yeah, different lines where I'm braking. If I think I'm braking just a bit earlier, or missing apexes, which I tend to do at quarry. I've noticed. I'm permanently missing the apex on quarry. It's just quite difficult to judge it.
Okay.
So I find it quite useful to watch it back. But like Justin said, you do get critics, you get people messaging you, I'll go around there quicker in this.
Really?
Sure let's do a track day and we'll see what you achieve.
Well, I mean, probably a final question really for you guys then is, do you still find that the track days, and I'll start with you, Joe, that they were beneficial to get you to where you are today?
I think so, definitely, yeah. Obviously, track knowledge is a big part of it, but also just progressing as a driver, trying to push yourself. Like, next lap, I'm going to try and brake 5 yards later, and I'm going to try and turn in a bit later and accelerate earlier, and just having the confidence to just build up in a more sort of relaxed environment than on a race day when you've got, like you said, 30 people behind you trying to get past you.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a complete change around, Julian, of going from that track day where you're obviously getting to pound round and try lines with no one around you.
Yeah, track days just easy going, plodding around. I'll go a bit quicker, I'll do this, and just building up nicely at your own pace. Yeah. You can't do that in a race. You can't just go, I'll have a lap off and calm down. Yeah, no. It doesn't really work.
No, I get that. So track days are a good place to start. Get the bug, then get racing.
Yeah, definitely. Learning your car, and building up in a safe environment, really.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. I love it. I do love that one. We've got a question in from Dan Paul. When will AZ Fest tickets come out? I think that's the drifting, I'm assuming. Don't know. Contact the circuit, Dan. Sorry, mate. I don't know the answer to that one. It's worth getting in touch. Incidentally, it's worth pointing out as well, by the way, is that Saturday, 5th of July, we've got RS Combe at Castle Combe. So go to rscombe.com because I think they run that one rather than the circuit. But jump on that and find out about that. If you're two-wheel minded, we were talking about the Nortons as Williams automobiles earlier. Excuse me, we've got the next bike night, the circuit bike night, 30th of July, £2 to get in between 6 and 8. Absolutely amazing aerial photographs we get from that when everybody's there. It's a static night, obviously, but everybody, if you got bikes, then go and check that out. Or if you like seeing bikes, I assume that you can go for that. No ticket, no entry, so you do need to jump onto the circuit website, castlecombecircuit.co.uk, and you can get tickets to that as well. It does say £2 per bike, so it presumably is just if you've got bikes, then you can get in there and you can see everything. Trade stands, catering, much more on that as well. But this Saturday, of course, is the Summer Spectacular, 28th of June. And if you, where was I? I did have it up, but I've lost it now. Here we go. So if you want to get yourself some tickets, you can still get the early bird tickets. I think that will stop Friday. So get yourself in the super early bird, £12, early bird, £15. On the day, £22. Remember, 16 and under go free of charge. But let's have a real summer sizzler of a race day. You guys all ready for Saturday's race day?
Yeah, all set now.
Are you testing tomorrow?
No.
Is that you as well, Julian?
No, I'm not testing, but I think I'm all ready. Just need to check up all over again, just to make sure. But I think we're good to go. Just wait and see what weather we get thrown at this time.
I haven't even bothered looking because it changes so much.
There's no point. Just see what it looks like in the morning.
I found curtains are my best weather forecaster. Oh, it's dry.
Definitely.
Although, as we know, is that you boys will be doing the rain dance. So, we'll see.
I've been dancing all month, Chris.
I could have gone without that image, Joe, but that's fine.
Yeah, it was at Kieran Simmons' request, though.
Well, why does that not surprise me as well?
Yeah.
So you guys, for your bits, you are the lunchtime grid walk, as long as we're able to have it as well, which will be good. I might well venture down and catch up with you guys on the microphone as well for that one. So that means you're the first race after lunch, due off at 1:15, and then you'll race to about 4:20. Incidentally, one of the other things I should be telling everybody is that where obviously this was originally due to be a 2-day race meet, is that people can actually stay in the paddock overnight, and the marshals, all of you lot, can stay overnight on the Saturday night as well. I don't believe they've managed to get the bar to stay open or anything like that, which is a shame. But just get barbecues going and get your tinnies on the go. And you can go out on the circuit on the Sunday on your bikes, on your skateboards, running, if you're that way inclined, whatever it is. And you can stay there Saturday night through to the Sunday as well. So it's still all of us lot that, are able to have fun and just make it. And by the way, it was confirmed that it was a Thatcher's haze in your hand, Julian, as well, by the way. They did see that. They did see. Tim Perry says, cheers, guys. See you Saturday early AM. Kieran Simmons doing his dancing emojis. Caroline Sutton, obviously, she is also saloon coordinator. Looking forward to seeing all the saloon drivers on Saturday. Don't be late, boys. She does scare me. Sorry I can't be there. We'll also be in the combox at Anglesey. Have a great weekend. And he says, oops, evening, Castle Combe Circuit and Racing Club as well, mate. And Mr. Dawes, evening, mate. Good to hear from you. So, looking forward to the weekend, gents?
Yeah, definitely.
You're going for it again. I can sense it.
Every time.
I think we're both ready to rumble again.
I do love it. I absolutely love it. Justin Holloway says, "Night chaps, see you AM early too." Matt Coyle, good to hear from you, mate. And then one of the saloon car coordinators. Looks like I can't make it Saturday. That's a shame, mate. In the Blackdown Hills in Somerset, settling in 60,000 bees. Have fun. We'll be safer than you, mate, so that's fine. That's not a problem. Darren Griffiths says, "See you soon, fellas. I hope to be back out with you end of August. Have a good one Saturday." We hope to see you back out, Dazza. That would be good. Gents, anything else that either of you would like to share at all before we wrap this one up?
Not that I can think of.
It wasn't loaded. It was just in case.
Just if you're in the paddock or on the grid, just feel free to come over and have a chat. And any questions, we'll try and answer them as best we can.
Yeah.
And genuinely, that is so true. There's no question about it. Oh, Medic Mason says, Joshy says, "Hi, Dawsy. He's going karting on Sunday, so watch out." Wow, Joshy Mason's going karting. He'll be competing against you boys soon. I'm telling you now. Good luck, Joshy. Enjoy it, mate. And thanks, Chris. Appreciate it, mate. And I'll see you and Emma on the weekend, I hope. Adam Wilkes. Hello, mate. He says, "Good luck. See you all Saturday." Good to hear from Adam.
Yeah, good to see him. Hopefully he'll be back out soon as well.
I hope so, mate. Get yourself back out there. It'll be really, really good. And Tim Perry says, "Cheers, Dawsy. Been great. See you all on Saturday. Dilly.
Cheers,
Gents, thank you so much for joining us, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to catch up with you, an absolute hoot. And I can't wait to see you on the weekend. And best of luck, guys.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you very much, Chris.
Well done, guys. And I'll see everybody else on Saturday. Let's do it.